Chalk cliffs are like right there. Yeah, it's beautiful.
You're welcome.
All right, let's see. Oh, yeah. I know. I'm like, am I allowed there?
Yeah, I don't think it applies to me.
Okay.
But thanks a lot for giving me a copy.
I'll spread the word.
Such a tough time.
Yeah.
Is it, I mean, I guess she's.
I will. Because that'll be before citizen comment.
Thank you.
And I'll explain why the rationale. No.
I knew yesterday I had to go back to the table.
No, just lean in.
I have 6 o'clock, so if everyone could please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Christy, could you take roll call, please?
Sure. Fontana?
Here.
Fratelli?
Present.
Martin?
Here.
Nacarado? Pappenfort?
Present.
Stevens?
Here.
Mayor Shore?
Here.
A quorum is present.
Okay. And that takes us to the consent agenda. And I wanted to, before we begin, I want everyone that's here tonight to be aware that items 4 and 5, which involve the 5H LLC, which I know that many of you are here to speak about this evening, are on the consent agenda. I wanted to take a moment and explain why that is. At the next meeting on the 19th, as I think many of you are aware, we will have a second reading and a public hearing. Because it's a quasi-judicial meeting where we are acting as judges on this land use decision, conversations we can't have ex parte conversations. So what that means is everybody needs, up here as well as in the audience, gets the same information at the same time. So you're welcome to speak about it in public comment, but I just wanted to clarify. I hope that helps. So with that, with the consent agenda, are there any questions or comments on the consent agenda this evening?
Mr. Mayor, I move to combine and approve the consent agenda.
Second.
So we have a motion from Councilmember Martin, seconded by Councilmember Pappenfort, and the motion is to combine and approve the items on the consent agenda. Further discussions?
Fontana?
Yes.
Pappenfort?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Fratelli?
Yes.
Nacarado?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, and that will bring us to citizen comment. And this is an opportunity for council to hear from our community. Public will be limited to 3 minutes each during comments. There will be a clock that will show up on the screen, and I will hold everyone to that 3 minutes to be fair to everyone here. Council may not respond to your comment this evening, but rather may take your comments and suggestions under advisements, and your questions will be directed to the appropriate department for follow-up, and if it's necessary, the city administrator will correct the public record. And with that, I have first up Greg Reed.
Good evening, Council. Thank you for allowing me to speak. The purpose of my conversation tonight is just to front load your thinking as you consider the annexation proposal. Please know that once the proposed annexation and development plan for the 5H LLC property was posted on July 2nd, members of the surrounding neighborhoods tried to reach out to the city planning department to voice their concerns, but we were informed that communication with members of the planning department was not allowed as it is considered ex parte, and the only way we are allowed to speak to Planning Commission was to show up and speak for 3 minutes at the City Council meeting. We did that on July 28th. Residents from the Cottonwood Green subdivision, Crestone Mesa subdivision, Mesa Village subdivision, Mesa Court subdivision, and Cochitopa Estates subdivision attended the Planning Commission meeting to voice our concerns. Residents were allowed 3 minutes to speak, while representatives of the Planning Commission and representatives from the developer, all of whom were advocating for changing the zoning to R3, were able to speak multiple times without time constraints. The end result of this commission meeting was a zoning recommendation that was created without input from the hundreds of residents living in the neighborhoods surrounding the property. Additionally, the Planning Commission zoning recommendation is in direct conflict with the City of Salida zoning ordinances and future land use category document. Specifically, the City of Salida's Code of Ordinance, Chapter 16, Article 4, Section 16.4-90 states, all proposed structures shall be of a scale that is compatible with surrounding and nearby properties. And on pages 4 and 5 of the Salida Future Land Use Category document, it states in the built form section that built form of the new neighborhood should be consistent with the varied character of the older areas of Salida. And in the infill consideration section, it states, infill considerations should not radically change the existing character of the neighborhood. Therefore, please know that the residents of the neighborhoods surrounding the 5H LLC property formally request that the Salida City Council zone the 5H LLC property as R2, which is consistent and compatible with surrounding neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir,
Greg
Oh,
Reed.
what's that?
Greg Reed?
Greg Reed.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, yeah.
May I give you the copy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, please, you can just drop it off right here. Yeah. And next up, we have Paul Jensen. Thanks, Greg.
My name is Paul Jensen. I live at 309 Cottonwood Circle in Cottonwood Green. I believe the Planning Commission staff report is incorrect regarding the 5H zoning. The review standards state that zoning should continue existing patterns of development. R3 high density is not consistent with the zoning found in the adjacent properties. The standards also state that it should be compatible with surrounding land use and neighborhood character. R3 high density is not consistent with the majority of the adjacent properties. Traffic is our greatest concern. The proposed 96 units will greatly impact the traffic in adjoining neighborhoods. I think that a traffic study should be done before zoning property for high density. A plan should be in place before the zoning is approved to show how the developer can mitigate traffic impact on adjoining neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. And then Sophia?
My name is Sophia Adenolfi. I'm here, I'm the Farmers Market Manager for the Food Shed Alliance. I'm here on behalf of the farmers markets to give our official claim on the petition to allow dogs in Salida parks. The Food Shed Alliance was founded in 2007 with a mission to bring people closer to our local food shed and the hardworking farmers, ranchers, and food producers who work tirelessly to produce food for our community. We aim to curate a unique market and host a plethora of local vendors in which people can shop and interact with local producers and makers. With the current No Dogs in Salida Parks ordinance, we are able to maintain a safe, welcoming, and accessible atmosphere in which children can play in the grass and dance to the music, and elderly and disabled folks can safely shop at the market. Even with the current No Dogs in the Park rule, we have issues with dogs at the farmers market every single week. Dogs can be unpredictable and owners can be irresponsible, and we do not have the staff or resources to ensure every single pet owner is doing their part. It is not worth the disrespect that dogs inevitably bring to our vendors or market shoppers. Whether it be a dog has peed on a vendor's tent leg, tablecloth, or they have jumped up onto vendors' tables to steal produce and baked goods from farmers and vendors. One of our vendors specifically enjoys being able to bring her 4-year-old son to roam the park safely until a few weeks ago when he was approached by an aggressive dog who snapped in his face. Upon being informed of the current policy, the dog owner continued to walk throughout the park in which the dog was aggressively barking at other children. This season, we have 3 vendors who are pregnant. 3 weeks ago, we had a dog jump on one of our pregnant vendors, almost knocking her over. Situations like these are unavoidable at the farmers market. The market is a loud, bustling, and busy environment, which can be very overstimulating for even the most well-behaved dogs. Their behavior can be unpredictable, and we value the safety of our market vendors and shoppers. especially children and elderly folks, more than we value creating a dog-friendly event. The Salida Farmers Market has gained incredible momentum over the last several years, and we have had record-breaking sales the last 3 years in a row. Not only this, but we have tripled the number of vendors we have attending the market since 2022, with over 80 vendors signed up this season. We lose a negligible amount of customers to this ordinance. We are a food-forward farmers market in which we curate a safe and welcoming space for children and families to gather and spend time together without any interruptions from pets. Regardless of the city's ordinance, the Food Shed Alliance Salida Farmers Market will enforce a no dogs at the farmers market policy for the safety and respect of our vendors and shoppers. We welcome trained service dogs as defined by the Americans with Disabilities Act and the state of Colorado. We have never been a dog-centric event, and we never
Thank you.
plan on becoming one.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here.
Of course.
Thanks. Sue Sully.
Thank you for letting me speak, and thanks for serving on the council. I am speaking specifically to the 5H project. I have contacted the planning department on a number of occasions, as well as the city clerk and others, trying to find out what exactly is the process and how the public can intervene with that. I was told on several occasions that either there wasn't an answer or that I would not be receiving a call back, thank you, click. That was unfortunate. At the last presentation, one of the things I talked about was street size that was required. I believe the Planning Commission has been negligent in, it's not a traffic study apparently, it is a traffic impact study, and I'd like to see one of those done before you consider the current request for zoning. Also in the plans are repeated comments that we will have a through walk space on the golf course. I have had extensive meetings with the golf course and was told that it is potentially lethal and walking on the golf course will never be permitted. I'm not sure why that always shows up in the, this is going to ease all of your problems because we're going to put people over there. I don't think it's true, and I'm not sure why it's being advertised that way. Thanks.
Thank you. Tony Aguero. Thank you.
Good evening, council members. I'm here to comment on the city's comprehensive plan as it pertains to its future development. Misdiagnosis is malpractice. Before you make these very important decisions that will affect both future and current citizens alike, please consider the comprehensive plan adopted in April of 2013 is now over 12 years old. Comprehensive meaning covering or including everything that is relevant or needed. Taken directly from the 108-page comprehensive plan, Chapter 12, Implementation. Amend Salida's land use code to locate construction or development activities to avoid detracting valued visual corridors and resources as seen from the public right-of-way. Ensure new neighborhoods contain a mix of housing types, a variety of lot sizes, open spaces, and parks and amenities. Advance the objectives of this plan and consider appropriate zoning designations, densities, and overlays that utilize setbacks and promote the traditional historic built environment. Create an open space plan for the management and prioritization of the acquisition of parcels in and around Salida. Amend the city's annexation policy to require future annexations to dedicate water rights to the city in an amount equal to or in excess of the anticipated demand, or provide cash in lieu of the purchases for water resources. On one final note of the plan, this is a living document that can be implemented in an ever-changing community. The plan should be revisited yearly to evaluate what priorities have been completed to provide the city citizens with an annual progress report, to help guide budgeting and plan for the upcoming year, and to be updated as priorities change. So what are the city's priorities? It's aging population with nowhere to go, the fact that the county's unemployment is lower than the state's average, The fact that more people are moving out of Colorado than in. The fact that the sheriff's office has had marked increase to the calls to the affordable, attainable, inclusionary housing on the east side of town. The fact that there has been no granular study of the effect of all these new dwellings is incomprehensible. How many straws can the water supply support? As offered by Mr. Almquist several weeks ago, on-street parking is not the well-known #1 deterrent to speeding. In fact, a quick web search makes no mention of this. Mr. Mayor, you moved here over a decade ago, drawn by the small town feel. Mr. Critelli, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but contrary to a recent report by you, your property value has dropped 20%.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Okay, next up, Adam Martinez.
Thank you and good evening. I would like to thank you very much for putting the street closures on the ballot. I think that's very important. In essence, one note regarding the Adelman property, I thought I'd let you know, Mr. Mayor and Mrs. Dooms, that on one of the meetings, Mrs. Dooms said that she has so many days to comply because there was a court decision that came down. Ever since that time, we have seen massive trash over at the Adelman's place. We have seen, in essence, not only massive trash, but people, Chief Johnson and the police boarded the place up about 2 years ago, and they're trying to get inside the house, a house that is already being condemned. And in essence, one of my family members called the sheriff's office, and they did not, in essence, they addressed it, and then Mrs. Adelman has been harassing me everywhere I go. I called the police, and the police did not want to do anything about it. I would like to instruct you, Mrs. Dooms, to get your police under control and get your police chief office, but to do something about it, because I don't think that the police are taking this any seriously, and I think that responsibility lies within the administrator. And then another thing, I heard on the mayor on the council report. I'm sorry. Excuse me. That in essence, the mayor had a problem with somebody who was posting stuff on social media. Well, in essence, maybe he should practice what he preaches, because it's okay if other people get attacked, but it's not okay if he gets attacked. And in essence, I don't feel that woman should apologize because she told him something that he didn't like. Of course, he's always done to people, in essence, stuff that has been demeaning and in essence, stuff that has been uncalled for. And he's defended everything throughout his 10 years mayor. We don't have time to go down a list, but I think you know what I'm talking about. Thank you.
Thanks. And do we have anyone else?
No one has their hand raised.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clear the record a little bit, just so the audience knows. We had a woman a few weeks ago who posted on social media that I was a former Marine, and I have never served. And to me, that is a slap in the face to anyone who has served or who currently is serving. So I called her out on it. We live in an era where politicians oftentimes take credit for things they have nothing to do with. And I felt it really important to call that out, because I have tremendous respect for anyone who's served or is serving, and I stand by that. So I just wanted everyone to be aware of that. Thank you. Okay, so no one else for public comment. We will go ahead and move to, we have a liquor licensing authority, and this is a new hotel and restaurant liquor license for Siam Noodles, Inc., DBA Siam Noodles at 216 North F Street. And I'm going to go ahead and start the public hearing. This is a public hearing before the Salida City Council, sitting as the Salida Local Liquor Licensing Authority on an application for a new hotel and restaurant liquor license submitted by, and I don't want to butcher your names. Okay. We're glad that you were here with us. And, you know, on top of it, my hearing, and I left my hearing aids at home, so I apologize.
Tomorrow.
But on behalf of Siam Noodles for the premises with a street address of 216 North F Street within the city of Salida. Before the hearing begins, I will outline the manner in which the hearing will be conducted and the order in which we will receive testimony. Although the authority is acting as a judge of this case, I note for the applicant and members of the public that strict rules of evidence do not apply. Any evidence that is relevant to the matter at hand may be considered by this authority. It is then up to each member of the authority to determine the credibility and weight of all such evidence as it relates to their decision. As chair, I may limit testimony or evidence determined to be irrelevant, repetitive, or cumulative. The order of the hearing will be as follows. Number one, this authority will accept the preliminary investigation reports and findings of city clerk. Two, the applicant may present an opening statement if they would like. Three, the applicant will present its request to the authority. Prior to excusing the applicant's witnesses, cross-examination shall be permitted in the following order. A, authority members, and B, any other party of interest. Number four, the city may present evidence and witnesses, if any. Prior to excusing the city's witnesses, cross-examination shall be permitted in the following order. A, the applicant or its representative. B, authority members. C, any other party in interest. Number five, any party in interest may present evidence and testimony. Before excusing witnesses, cross-examination of interested parties and their witnesses shall be permitted in the following order. A, the applicant or its representative, and B, authority members. Number six, the applicant may then present any rebuttal evidence it wishes to. The city may then also provide rebuttal evidence, if any. Seven, the applicant is then permitted to give a closing statement if they so choose. After all evidence and testimony has been received, I will close the public hearing. The authority will then begin its deliberations on this application. The authority will make a decision by motion and roll call. So I now open the public hearing on an application for a new hotel, restaurant, liquor license for Siam Noodles at 216 North F Street, Salida, Colorado. And I invite the city clerk to provide the authority with the city's preliminary investigation, reports and findings.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So the owners of Siam Noodles submitted a new Colorado hotel and restaurant liquor license application on June 9th. For the restaurant at 216 North F Street. The notice of the public hearing was published on June 27th, and the premises was posted July 24th. All fees for city and state have been remitted, and background checks have been done with no issues. Staff is recommending the Liquor Licensing Authority approve a new hotel and restaurant liquor license request for Siam Noodles at 216 North F, and I can answer any questions if you have them.
Great. Any questions for Christy this evening? No? Okay. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and invite the applicant up to make a opening statement if you would like. And if you could just come up to the mic so that everyone listening online can hear you, that would be great.
Good evening. My name is Pimara.
Thank you, Pimara.
Pimara. My last name is Vipangen. Okay, today I would like to get the liquor license to serve alcohol with my food. Yes, that's why I'm standing here today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Okay. Do we have anyone, authority members, that have any questions for Pimara? Okay. Any other party of interest? Okay, I see none there. You're welcome to take a seat if you like.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Does the city have any evidence or witnesses?
No, we do not.
No, we do not. Okay. Is there a party of interest who would like to present evidence or testimony? Okay, I don't see any there. So there's no need for rebuttal since nobody brought anything up. If you like, you're more than welcome to make a closing statement if you would like. You good? Okay, okay, thanks. Very good. Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and close the hearing, and the authority will now begin its deliberations on this application. Who'd like to begin?
It all looks in order.
Yeah?
I just want to say congratulations for expanding your restaurant. You know, you got 2 locations now, and that's great.
Yeah.
Congratulations, yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, can I approve, or do we have to close it?
The hearings, the hearings are closed. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I move to approve a new hotel and restaurant liquor license request for Siam Noodles at 216 North F Street.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion from Councilmember Catelli, seconded by Councilmember Martin. And the motion is to approve a new hotel and restaurant liquor license request for Siam Noodles at 216 North F Street. Further discussion?
Nacarado,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Critelli,
Yes.
Pappenfort,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Fontana.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, and that takes us to new business and resolution 2025-33, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Salida, Colorado, approving an annexation agreement with Russell and Tangie Granzella for the annexation of certain real property into the city. And that will probably be the first and last time I refer to him as Russell.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. So tonight we're here to talk about the annexation agreement with the Granzellas. As you might remember, on July 15th, we had the annexation and zoning public hearing at City Council for this property. And this specific agreement is just with the Granzellas who own Tract 1, so this L-shaped parcel shown in yellow here on the screen. As a reminder, the city owns the Tracts 3 and 4, that rectangular portion on the southeast portion, and we don't need an agreement with ourselves. So, I'll highlight a couple points that are in the agreement. These were taken pretty much directly from the annexation agreement, from the annexation ordinance and conditions from that. So first and foremost, inclusionary housing requirements will be met per the code. The rest of these, number 2 also, owners agree to pay at the time of building permit any applicable fees. And public and open space requirements have been satisfied by the provision of the public park, which is going to be on the city-owned land. And then the rest of these numbers 4 through 6 are from the originally from the sales agreement, carried into the conditions for the annexation, and now in the annexation agreement. That curb, gutter, and sidewalk will be completed by the developer on the north edge of Nelson Way. That's that road that runs east-west. And then the owner and developer will dedicate River Drive at the time of development. That'll connect that far western road in the north-south direction. And then lastly, any cost reimbursements for utility installation within Nelson Way. Whoever develops it first will pay the fees up front, and then we'll reimburse the other. Yes. Yes, thank you. So those are the main conditions of the annexation agreement. The rest is pretty standard. And we have a motion. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions this evening?
Can you explain to me what the difference is between this annexation and what we passed last time?
So this is just the agreement. The annexation, we created conditions for the annexation to annex the land into the city. Mm-hmm. And an annexation agreement is a requirement. Is it by state? Is it a state requirement?
You mean it?
Sure, thanks, Mina.
Yes. Okay. So they're not technically required, but they're highly recommended. So, and it's typical that, how Salida's process is that it's kind of separate. So you had the conditions that you all approved the annexation, and then that directs staff, we work together to put together this agreement and to protect the city. It's recorded onto the property, this agreement in all of its terms. The ordinance is as well, but it's just a very good idea. The property is already annexed, and it would be annexed annexed without an agreement, but it's highly recommended that we make sure that all these terms are recorded for future property owners to see. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Dina.
Okay. Other questions? I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve Resolution 2025-33, approving the Granzella annexation agreement.
Second.
So we have a motion from Councilmember Martin, seconded by Councilmember Nacarado, and the motion is to approve.
Fontana.
What's that?
It was Fontana.
Oh, I'm sorry. Councilmember Fontana. Boy, you know what? I ran out of the house, the hearing aids aren't in, and I'm clearly paying the price right now.
I'm sure you
All
didn't do it on purpose, I'm sure.
We will talk louder.
I need to make it like muscle memory, okay? You don't even have to talk behind my back, because I won't even. So we had a motion from Councilmember Martin, seconded by Councilmember Fontana. The motion is to approve Resolution 2025-33, approving the Granzella annexation agreement. Further discussion?
Critelli,
Yes.
Nacarado,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Pappenfort,
Yes.
Fontana,
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, and next up is Resolution 2025-34, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Salida, Colorado, approving citizen appointments to the Sustainability Committee pursuant to Section 2-18-10 of the Salida Municipal Code.
We can't hear you, Sarah.
I definitely can't hear her.
Well, it's because we're using a backup computer, so her audio isn't coming in.
a minute if you need to. You might have to call in like Reed last night.
Can you sign
That worked really
language?
well last night.
Do you want me to call her?
I can do
Okay.
it. I mean, unless Sarah has something really, like that she wants to bring up.
Just tell her to call in if she needs to correct you.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah.
She can totally correct me.
she said-
Speakerphone to the microphone.
Yeah, that worked great.
Just,
She said, go ahead and do it.
okay, yes, on it, 1 second, because I wasn't prepared. Everybody had a good Tuesday? Did everybody have a good Tuesday? Good, good. It was hot today, lots of stuff out there. It was very hot. Lots of people really hot, yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Mayor and Council, Resolution 2534 is the appointment of another citizen to the Sustainability Committee per our code. As you all remember, recently we established a Sustainability Committee, and within that committee, the council appoints individuals. We are we strive to have 5 to 9 members on that committee. We had to have we had to replace one member. We received applications through July 14th. Staff and a committee, a group of committee members held interviews on July 28th. The Sustainability Committee and staff are recommending that council appoint Chris Jamboretz, I'm so sorry, Chris, Imogen Ainsworth, and Emma Carlock to the Sustainability Committee with the terms as outlined in the motion below. I am happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions?
Can we combine these motions because they all expire at the same time? Where we would say the city council hereby appoints, name all 3, and read it. Why are there 3? When it's exactly the same?
I just did the liquor licensing thing, which was the epitome of redundancy.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, Councilmember Pappenfort, you can make one motion and list all 3 individuals.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I have a
Are you
question.
ready for that motion?
Yeah.
Were there only 3 spots and only 3 candidates, or were there, we don't know?
I'm sorry, hold on, Sarah's gonna, let's give Sarah just a second here. There were 5 candidates.
Give Chris's last name.
And just, so there are 5, so in the past, we would have people come in and interview with us.
Right.
And we've changed it to have the committees themselves because that's their area of expertise, and
Qualified.
it's been really a good change. Yeah.
I'm just trying to get a feel of if there's other people that would like to volunteer for something in our community or in our city, or if there were 3 spots and only 3 people volunteered. So it'd be nice just to say, hey, there's a lot of people who want to volunteer around here, or not.
Right, right. So Sarah wrote, there were 5 candidates, 3 spots to fill, which brings us up to the 9 for the committee. We're going to put out a call for tree board members, and potentially these other folks could be interested in that as well.
Okay, good, thank you. So she kind of referred them possibly to another board where they can be of use and service
Yep.
and volunteer.
Yes.
Perfect, that's what I was asking. Thank
Yes.
you.
Ready?
Yeah.
The city council hereby appoints Chris Jamboretz, apologies, Imogene Ainsworth, and Emma, did you see that? And Emma Carlock as 2-year members of the Salida Sustainability Committee, terms to expire August 1, 2027.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion from Councilmember Pappenfort, seconded by Councilmember Martin. And the motion is to approve Resolution 2025-34 and a resolution of the City Council of the City of Salida, Colorado, approving citizen appointments to the Sustainability Committee pursuant to Section 2-18-10 of the Salida Municipal Code. And the city hereby appoints Chris Jamboretz, Imogen Ainsworth, and Emma Carlock as 2-year members of the Salida Sustainability Committee, term to expire August 1st, 2027. Further discussion?
Martin,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Nacarado,
Yes.
Critelli,
Yes.
Pappenfort,
Yes.
Fontana.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, and we have another appointment. It's Resolution 2025-35, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Salida, Colorado, approving citizen appointments to the Parks, Recreation, Open Space, and Trails Advisory Board pursuant to Section 2-14-10 in the Salida Municipal Code.
Very similar situation. We are trying to clean up our boards and commissions a little bit and try to make them on a more regular rotation. So when a board member resigns or can't serve anymore, we nominate someone, they serve the remainder of their term, and we're trying to get all those terms to be half of the board is due in July and half the board is due in January, every other year. So we're starting to get there with the Prost. I think sustainability is starting to get there too, so that's why you have 2 in a row right now. But we had 3 openings. 3? Yeah, 3 openings. We interviewed 6 candidates, and the interview committee has suggested 3 for you to appoint. They're down there in the motion, which is combined into 1. Because it's all on the same date. Sorry, Sarah.
Oh, I see.
Hope you're still on, Sarah.
She's not.
Little competitive interdepartmental rivalry, love it. Questions for Diesel?
Mine would be about the same. So obviously you had more candidates apply than there were positions. Where are we talking to these candidates about possibilities with the city?
So, one of the candidates who was not selected had previously served on the Prost. And I would imagine he's probably retiring from public service. Another candidate is retired and had a particular issue that I think if we're not necessarily going to be discussing that, he might not be interested in being on another board. The third candidate, Josh Buckberg, he's a lead with the lacrosse club. And young family, he's up and coming, he'll find a place.
Good.
Yeah, he'll find a place somewhere.
Good, thank you.
Other questions?
Do we let these folks know about like organizations like Garna that could
I can.
always use volunteers like that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I wait to reach out to them until after this, and I'll let them know, yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I just wanted to comment that Diesel, I appreciate the way that you're presenting this to us, where you gave us like the interview questions that were given to them, like all of the names that were in people who were interviewed, I think that if possible, like if there are other committees, if we could have it similar to this where we can see exactly what's going on. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, we're streamlining this. I'll pass it along.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve Resolution 2025-35, a resolution of the City Council for the City of Salida, Colorado, appointing Ricky Garden, Jared Robertson, and Kelsey Leyva, term to the Post Board.
Second.
So we have a motion from Councilmember Nacarado, seconded by Councilmember Fontana, and the motion is to approve Resolution 2025-35, a resolution of the City Council for the City of Salida, Colorado, appointing Ricky Garden, Jared Robertson, and Kelsey Leyva, term to the Post Board. Further discussion?
Actually, I have a question for legal.
Yes.
Sorry, just occurred to me, Ricky Garden is a student of mine. So should I just recuse myself?
It's not necessary because it's not you don't have a financial conflict. It's up to you. It's up to your judgment if you want to. It's not like a quasi judicial either. So it's really up to you. If you feel like you're benefiting in any way by asking him to spend more time on the in public service, but you know it's up to your own judgment.
Okay,
Yeah.
I do not, thank
I
you.
guess it depends on how you vote then. How shady it is as a student.
I did make a motion.
Okay, that's just.
Small little detail. Okay.
And just to clarify, you can have, so, you know, there's 3 ways you could have to recuse yourself from quasi-judicial, and there's one for non, which is conflict of interest, which is why I went through that analysis, just to explain if anyone's listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
Stevens,
Yes.
Critelli,
Yes.
Nacarado,
Yes.
Fontana,
Yes.
Pappenfort,
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay. And we're on to council reports. Councilmember Fontana.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, I put some Veterans Resource Fair information out. Well, I'll go back to that in a second. But first, I would like to encourage anyone who commented on the 5H development to come back in 2 weeks. That would be a very appropriate and time to hear and to listen and for us to listen to your comments. And we are listening. I know most of them left. But thank you for coming tonight. Then I would like to say thank you to Christy Keller, Mayor Dan Shore, VFW member Glenn Mallory, American Legion Commander Lynn Baldini, and I missed Dennis. Dennis also was there.
Dennis Hunter.
Dennis Hunter, that's right. I just remembered Dennis Hunter. And the Chaffey County VSO, Ashley Otter, for their time and flexibility as partners with the city. We did have time to meet with them, and they are so want to be partners with the city of Salida. They want to be partners in many of their veterans events and organizations, and our community here is huge with the vets. So I would like to encourage us to continue that. And that's where I put this Veterans Resource Fair out. I gave one to everybody. If anybody can attend, you don't have to be a veteran. You can just come see and pass the information on to someone who is, even if you stop by for a minute or two. And if you know any vets, please encourage them to come. So thank you for your time and everybody else who was there. I appreciate that. I'd like to take a few minutes to comment about last night's presentation by Christy Miller. She represented the STRs in our community. Just thank you to her for coming, spending so much time. The data collection was outstanding and appreciated. Data collection is not easy, so I really appreciate that. And to our other STR owners in the community, they are valued in how much they contribute. Please reach out when they have collected more data as advised by some of our council. When they do have more data, I would hope that they would come back and talk to us about what they have collected. I know that it's an uphill battle collecting data and bringing that back to council, so they're valued in our business community. So several constituents and businesses reached out to me today stating that, as this is them quoting, they support the affordable housing initiatives in our community. They just don't understand why council this is them, has them contributing such a large amount to the Affordable Housing Fund when they are only 1% of our population. So they don't want to bear such a burden, and I get it. Hopefully they come back and talk again. And then we just have another discussion. A simple question that should be asked is, why would the city of Salida feel like it has to take their modest profits that they earn after they've taken such a big risk with their own money? And several of them came to me today and said a 40% tax is more than anybody else is taxed in the city. So just so we all know that they are small businesses in our community, and we value small business as a council and as a city. We understand that they are paying directly into the sales tax and other tax. So we just need to make sure we are committed to a business-friendly community and with that approach to governing the city. So that is all I have.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Stevens.
Yeah, a few things. First of all, just thank Tina over at the steam plant. We were able to go over and participate in her pavement documentary that she put on, I think it was last weekend. Me and my wife went up there, and even though it was not well attended, it was a very well put on little event. Thank you to the steam plant for putting on those little documentaries, and very educational and entertaining. That and the next first Friday was I think a pretty successful event. My wife and I were down on F Street showing some of my wife's art at her office there at her real estate office there in HomeSmart. Had some people stop by and had some really good feedback. Thank you for you know, I guess for getting that put together. That, and then a thing I wanted to maybe direct towards staff, maybe bringing up talks about maybe, I guess, rededication of the funds that are dedicated to, I guess, public works for roads and infrastructure, that go out of our taxpayers' money, for maybe bringing it up, maybe talks about maybe, you know, moving that into another department in our, that is kind of maybe needing it a little bit more right now. Just kind of see where we need to go, what you know, direction forward to maybe get that on. I think it's got to be put towards a vote, but by the people. But that's maybe, I was hoping to maybe get a second just to kind of just move that forward and kind of get some information on if that's possible to maybe move that around, put a sunset on it to where it's not always going to one department in the city, and we can move it around to where it's maybe more needed in
Yeah, I'd second that. Just, welcoming the discussion about it.
Yeah, just a discussion.
And just so, I mean, everyone, just to provide a little context, I think it was back on 13 or 14 where the Carlisle-Farney was passed, which mandated a certain percentage of the general fund revenues every year had to go to streets and sanitation. And I mean, back then, there was this huge pent-up backlog of projects that needed to be done. And if you look around the streets today, over the last 12 years, they've been really busy and productive, and streets look totally different. So I just wanted everyone to have that context, but it sounds like that's a conversation that we could have at some point in the future.
Yes, and for timing purposes, the next work session would be the one and only one, the 18th, where if the council wanted to move forward quickly for this, I'm looking at the clerk to figure out timing, because we're on a time frame about
We are in the 11th hour.
We are for something to go to the ballot this year. So I want to bring it forward on the timeline that you all are looking for, and understand if collectively this is something that you want a lot of information on so that you can make a decision about sending it to the ballot this year. Because it's getting super close. So I guess, yeah.
And the other piece of it I would throw out there as well is, take a day, 2 days, however long, to really try to figure out like if we go ahead with this, assuming everyone agrees, how committed are everyone to, because would be going to the vote, so there'd need to be a lot of,
And I did hear just a discussion, but because we don't have a lot of time, if the discussion moves to action.
Councilmember Stevens, would you be like open to the idea that we discuss it after, like not getting it on the ballot this year necessarily? Because I think it would also, I know it would have a big impact on the budget as well. And I know we're having budget discussions soon, so.
I'm well aware that, this is kind of,
Okay.
last minute. I know, September 5th is is the deadline to get things approved for the ballot. So, there's no rush for it. I just wanted to get the ball rolling in that direction to maybe see about reallocating those funds.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, we
So,
can.
it's not something that I
Then
feel
you
like needs to be
probably
on
won't
this
see
ballot.
it on the 18th.
And it feels really
that's
urgent
okay.
to me, because we have short-term rental owners who are really suffering. We need to free up some funds, so we have some alternatives to help affordable housing. And that's one place I see it coming from. What we need the voters to approve is to give us more freedom and leeway. We have so much money for streets that we've got curb and gutter everywhere, where we used to not have it. So we have really improved our streets, and I think it's quite urgent.
Okay, well, I will tell David to start working on it.
okay,
Okay.
thanks.
I think that was all.
Okay.
I really had.
Councilmember Martin?
So I had a chance to attend the spot board meeting, and I just wanted to give a shout out to them for getting the Pancha Pocket Park bench that we have out over there. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but I just wanted to give recognition to the spot group for for funding that project. I did hear a few constituents this evening ask about a traffic impact study for the 5H development, and I'm curious if, Nina, I'm looking at you, is that something that we could require them to provide us by?
So, as for the specifics, I would have to look at the code, but we want to make sure we talk about anything regarding this in the confines of the public hearing. It would be a good idea that we're talking about it so that staff addresses it in their staff report or in their presentation in 2 weeks to explain what the code is. I would have to look at it. Maybe as other people are talking, if it's required for this particular application. If it's not required for this particular application, it really wouldn't be appropriate to require it for one property owner versus another, just because a lot of people are coming in front of you. It's more like you're doing a code rewrite and you should do that. But I don't know if staff knows specifics. I could also look at the code as other people speak, but it's, they could address that during the public hearing, and we can look at the code, what's required. I don't know if planning is here to say what's required for that particular application.
Yeah, it's impossible to do an analysis of potential traffic impacts when you don't have a development plan. We do not have a development plan as of this point. We only have an annexation application and a zoning application. So we can't comment on any potential development plan or the impacts of that.
That's a good point. It'll be a subdivision application, right? And then that'll be in front of
At the very least, subdivision application.
So at least that'll be in front of Planning Commission and the City Council. And then as to what's required.
Just at a later date.
Yes.
Okay.
At a later date. And as to what's required, that's what our code has those requirements. Sometimes there's requirements in certain land use codes, like if needed, this and that, but the staff looks through the code, and if it's required, then they tell that to the applicant.
Yeah, the code, I believe, says something to the effect of at director discretion if a traffic impact analysis is required. And I would say, given the size of this site and what we expect to see in that subdivision application, we will require that traffic impact analysis.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, and then I've been in conversation with Ashley Valdez from Excel Energy, And Christy Dune and I, our city administrator, we've been chatting with her to see if we can get rid of the demand rate that happens when the Excel Energy, when they require a power outage. So when it's a prescribed power outage, there's a demand rate that is put on the businesses. And I spoke with Councilwoman Kathy Worthington from Canyon City. And this was her suggestion. She's been in this role before. She was the previous Colorado Communications Relations Manager for Excel. And so, yeah, I just wanted to say that that's something that Christy and I are both trying to accomplish. We know we have been experiencing a lot less power outages this summer, which is great. Very much appreciated, but this is more of a focus on the demand rate that is put onto the businesses for the prescribed outages. And then I was hoping to get something on the ballot. I would like to see F Street pedestrian mall closure on the ballot. This is something that is brought to our attention every year. We go back and forth every year about should it be open or closed. It's a lot of pressure putting that onto 6 or 7 individuals, depending on how the voting goes. And I believe maybe just getting a final vote from the people could ease the burden of that decision being on council members. And it also gives our constituents a chance to voice their feelings about the pedestrian mall. I don't know if I have any support for that.
Yeah.
Second that.
Yeah.
I would suggest a possible alternative. A while ago, we discussed the idea of a full street redesign. It was last spring or winter when we were discussing the F Street closure. And I just wonder how much a ballot initiative might lock us into doing things a certain way. And if we wouldn't want to consider that street redesign, that concept first.
It was the European blocks, right?
Yeah, we were
That
talking
looked
about
really
one
good.
ways, so to increase parking spaces too, and so, I don't know what's first, chicken.
That was that presentation that you gave?
Yep.
Okay.
So I don't know what would be the chicken and the egg there.
So if, like you're saying, and we put it to the vote and they voted to have it closed, we couldn't use a design that could possibly come back up or had been seen.
Right, like we get really locked in if, as you know from
And
other
I was thinking maybe like 3 or 5 year,
Sunset?
yes, just to see how it goes in a way. I don't know, Councilmember Nacarado, if you think that that's like a way to.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you have a really good point. It would be nice to let the community choose rather than us each year. It does get pretty exhausting to have the same conversation every year.
Yeah.
But I think the street redesign concept plan kind of speaks to the larger system too.
Longer
so-
term.
But I won't,
Long term.
I think it's definitely worthy, of a discussion. I think it would also take a big burden off of staff, just to have that clarity. And it would be huge for the business owners, because they could actually, if we had like a 5-year sunset, let's say, we're not locked in, but they could also plan out 5 years, because that just keeps coming back. How would you expect us to invest when this might go away next year?
Yeah, I think the sunset's an important part of it. And I would like to see where people stand.
I would prefer the 3 if we're at all considering the redesign as a council, because the presentation was very quality information.
Fantastic,
it was. So, I liked what he showed. I would like to know more about that. But then giving the business owners a 3-year.
As a
locked in.
business owner,
I like to plan.
and so is 3 years enough planning, or?
Yeah, I think so, for your investment, and you have this amount of time, and then it would take that amount of time for us to even consider this European bloc, possibly,
You have to have money for that.
to
I
have
agree.
money for that.
Yeah.
Would it require more money for us to close that at this point?
I think Christy has something to say about it.
First, everything requires more money. Councilmember Fontaine. I just, even when we think it might not. No, so one, we have kind of left the, that, design, we haven't really talked about it much more, but one of the conversations that we did have with Civic Brand, which included Bill and David and Diesel, was the turning radius for those and our narrow streets. Some of it seemed very problematic for trucks and campers who might need to go around downtown. They may not have we may not have the width because our streets are so narrow to do that. So we might need to do, I appreciate you remembering it and bringing it forward. We may need to do more like on the ground work to figure out if it's feasible. So I know that doesn't really help this conversation,
So
but
it would take some time.
it would still take some time for us to kind of, to figure that out. And we had talked about potentially phasing it in as well to make it, semi-permanent again, within the seasons where it would make more sense. So anyhow.
Thank you for that, and I'm not in support of that idea. It just seemed like the right time to bring that up too.
So it just to clarify, we did have this, we have a second support, Councilmember Pappenfort was supportive, so we can bring forward some language that has a sunset. We'll put language around it to be a temporary closure in the summer only, with some dates in there. And so we'll craft it a little bit and bring it forward on the 19th.
Awesome.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much.
And then to close my report, I just wanted to announce that I am going to be picking up a packet tomorrow to run for another term. And I'm just really excited, and that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Critelli.
So I attended the mosaic unveiling at Chisholm Park on Saturday. It was awesome. The amount of hours and effort that went into it, and it just turned out so beautifully, and really just made me feel like anywhere where we have blank space could really benefit from having that. So big kudos to Public Arts Commission, for really just helping pave the way for such a beautiful piece of art. And that had so much local support and involvement. That was a big deal. As far as the discussion last night, kind of an impromptu debate, which I felt like it was, work sessions usually information sharing, and then we on the council discuss. Maybe we can ask questions of the presenter for clarification. There was definitely a lot of back and forth. I too heard from business owners. Here's what they had to say. It's awfully bold to assume that STRs support small businesses when staff with housing insecurities is such a huge issue. One of them said 3 of 12 of their staff lives in either trailers or vans. So it's certainly, I think there was definitely some frustration, especially if you sat for every minute of the discussion of short-term rentals in previous years. It felt like it was definitely a lot was getting rehashed. I mean, we talked, I think we've discussed every conceivable aspect of this already, which went into the ballot being discussed and then, being voted upon ultimately. It does feel like, I definitely get the urge to like want to put something on the ballot, because then you're like, okay, we can like stop talking about it so much. Obviously, that's not the case. This seemed like it was just a moment to really project what you thought the real meaning behind the reasoning behind the vote was. I think it really is important to just know, as far as optics, as far as how I feel strongly as a representative of that vote, of the majority of the electorate, it really, there needs to be something absolutely like cataclysmic to justify a reversal or an undoing of a vote, especially within a couple of years. And I mean, I use that, I've said, I mean, we've just discussed potentially you know, putting back on the ballot the treasurer's position. Same concept of, if you're gonna try to overturn or rehash a vote during your tenure, you have to have like a really, really good reason to do that. And I just, again, I really appreciate the discussion piece as far as getting that information. We have 1.5 years of data though after this ballot. Not enough to make any hasty moves, especially when we're talking about the people have spoken. So with that said, I mean, you know, I do look forward to hearing more data and information moving forward, but it just seemed like we really had to like defend ourselves, and we got thrown into just a debate as if like a decision was being made at a work session, and that, I think that did a disservice to what a work session is and what we're doing up here. Okay, also, yeah, I guess if we're also sharing, I pulled a petition today for mayor. So just to provide another option for the people to decide who they want running meetings. I've done it a couple times, but you know, throw my hat in the ring.
I don't think Dan heard you.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah.
How many people giving you a hard time?
And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. That's all.
You know what they say about payback, right?
That's all that.
Toronto, but I don't know what I'm paying back, so. So I'll just take a stab in the dark. Sorry, your turn.
Thank you. Just to piggyback on the comments about last night, I think it's valuable to have the information, have the conversation. It feels to me like we're still reaching a balance with the short-term rentals being regulated in a way to do what we want to do as a city. And we are gonna get some more information that can weigh into that discussion from the housing needs assessment that came up with the Housing Authority report too. And I think it's gonna be really interesting to look at once that housing needs assessment is done and compare those two data sources together to see how we're doing. As far as the Housing Authority goes, we had a great report last night. We're gonna start to dig into the operations plan for the Housing Authority at the next Housing Authority Board meeting on August 21st. And, sorry.
What's the operations plan?
It's like the working plan for the staff. Okay. Yeah. So, and Christy and I will meet with staff on Monday morning to kind of get a feel for just the city of Salida specific past points and future points of that plan. There's some things to consider that are in the IGA, like the communities of care wraparound services, which is going to become critical if unhoused homeless people start getting arrested on the streets, as well as all of our new projects that are coming forward that city staff has been working on with the Housing Authority, and you know what the city's role is is with that and expectations of both parties. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't really, as you may have noticed, have a counterpart as far as our housing authority representative that was picked by this council. So, and it's starting to become a really big problem. As you may have noticed, Charlie Goodson wasn't here last night for that housing authority report. We did talk about, with the housing authority board in our retreat, we talked about representatives being there for those reports when it comes to their appointing municipality. I also reached out to Charlie almost a month ago to sit down with myself and city staff so he could understand the city's priorities as far as being an appointee to the housing authority, and both Chrissy and I haven't gotten a response to that, which is just, I mean, at this point, it's kind of just straight disrespectful. So.
I can reach out to him.
It's
Councilmember
not, I'm not done. Even the mayor already reached out to him about not responding to this email. It doesn't do me any good at this point to have you reach out to him and he responds to you, oh yeah, everything's good. So what I would suggest, if I can get a second, is that we visit the topic of removing this appointee at our next council meeting. And I don't love that being a surprise. I hate the timing as well. We've just seen this happen with another jurisdiction where it was a complete surprise. So I am trying to give a little forewarning here. So
I feel like this is a surprise because none of us have heard of it.
well, I'm telling you now so that so I can see if it can go on the next agenda. And then there's some time in between potentially for it to get rectified. I would say there's just very, very little understanding of, and we're talking about after 6 months of being on the Housing Authority Board and not having reached out for that contact with the city that he's representing, and now not responding to, I'm not gonna spoon feed or hold hands. I'm a very busy person as well, so somebody telling me that they're too busy doesn't really fly.
And just so everybody knows, I did reach out to him probably 3-4 weeks ago, and it was assured that he would be in touch promptly, and obviously it hasn't happened. So
And Council Member Nacarado, as our liaison to this board, I feel I have to trust your judgment on it because that's what we've appointed you in that role for us to do. So I trust your judgment. If that's what you want to discuss and that's how you want things to move forward, then I will second that.
Thank you.
At the 18th, the work session on the 18th is when you'd like to have that discussion? Or
The agenda on the 19th.
agenda on the 19th? Okay.
Will he be able to, I guess if he decides to show up, would he be able to come here and kind of defend himself a little bit and see what's going on with him, or is that something
Or
that
does
we want
that
to
go
try?
on the work session? If he's to be able to come and talk, that would be a work session. Or if you're asking for him just to be removed, period,
'Cause I
that's
guess
different.
At least reached out to him and give him the opportunity, if he takes it or not, like.
And to be fair,
say,
he's had 6 months to come and talk.
And he was here at a council meeting. One night, he was sitting back in the back and asked if he would like to come up and talk. I don't
That was right
remember.
after he was appointed, right? That was a while back ago.
Yeah.
Or before the appointment, when we were
No,
discussing.
it was after the appointment. He came to one council meeting and talked.
I think the bigger concern is, when you work on a board together, you need people to be responsive. And I feel like, after having a conversation, I got off the phone feeling very confident that he was going to be in touch, in a very quick time frame. It didn't happen. And that's a
So
problem.
now it's the mayor, the city administrator, and myself who are just being blown off, basically. So yeah, I do want for there to be time, to recognize how serious this is, but it's not fair to me to be the only one representing the city. There was a proposal last board meeting for a new board appointment policy. It was an excellent opportunity for Charlie, who is on the committee, to speak to folks at the city to understand the city's point of view. Things like that the city of Salida would want to appoint people who live within city limits, whereas like the town of BV doesn't care. They were going to take that out, that it wouldn't have, people wouldn't have to live within the city of Salida limits. I think that's really important. And I think it's important to this council just based on previous conversations. So when I brought up, you know, my dissent on that, basically, I was told, oh, we really just want to bring this to the decision makers. It's like a really weird thing to say to a decision maker who was giving the feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the kind of like lack of understanding that I'm talking about. So thank you for that second. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but I would really like to serve with somebody who's willing to put in the work with me.
As you deserve that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't have time for the sustainability board. That's why I didn't know anything about the appointments. So I want to be very clear about that. If somebody else wants to be the appointee for the sustainability board, I've not been able to participate this summer. And it's a great, even if you're learning and you know, even if you don't feel like you're a sustainability expert, like the people on that board are incredibly knowledgeable and it's a great place to learn.
Remind me when they meet?
Yeah, one of the 4:15 on some Tuesdays. Wednesdays. Sorry, hold please and I will find it.
I can tell you.
Move on to.
It's on the second Thursday
Oh my God, we were all wrong. Sorry.
at 4:15.
I did that so
Second
I knew the
Thursday.
time. I knew the time.
I do have it on my calendar.
Okay.
I like to give some thought to that before taking on
Sure.
another.
Absolutely.
role.
I understand.
Yeah. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to do that.
That's it.
Okay, thanks. Councilmember Pappenfort.
On the 110 project, I wanted to say on the steam plant that I would like us to honor the original agreement, which is that we support theater and artists there, because we need to fast track the price increases, but those groups need to be protected. That was the condition of accepting the steam plant. So whatever adjustments need to be made so that we can do that, I would like to see those happen. I'd also like to have staff report back on some of the concerns that we heard on the Walt Harder development, and if there's anything that we can do. I think what the public forgets is that we cannot violate personal property rights of individuals. When they sell their land for millions of dollars that's going to be developed, there's very little that we can do about that. And so I would like to just make sure, because we heard from Bill about you can't do a traffic study before there's a subdivision plan. So if there's anything else to report on, I'd like to hear about that next time, so we can put some of these citizen concerns to rest, at least in our minds. And then I was curious about what you said, Councilmember Martin, about the rates with Excel, because as an individual, I experienced those as well, from 1 to 3 and from 3 to 7. They are higher rates. So are you telling me that businesses have an even higher amount, or what are you saying?
Yes, so, where did in my conversations with the council member from, Canyon City, it's not necessarily demand rates for residentials. It's a demand rate that is applied to businesses for, like the surge of power that they have when the power comes back on after a power outage. So I think about Sweetie specifically, right? We have a lot of like walk-ins and refrigerators and ovens and things that just automatically are going to be turned back on. It's not like we're going and plugging it back in ourselves, and no, we just caused all this power to come back on. It's something that the businesses don't necessarily have control over. All of those appliances will be turning back on immediately. And so if it's a prescribed outage, that demand rate is still applied to the businesses. And I'm hoping to get those waived for just the prescribed outages. And it would just be for the commercial users, is my understanding. And I don't believe that that is something that is impacting residential users.
Yeah, we just pay a higher rate during those different periods.
Yes, yeah, I think that is, that's common with a lot of energy companies, I believe, just like, yeah, like the hours from like 1 to 3, it's just more expensive.
3 to 7.
This is more specifically the surge of power increase, after an outage, and just like again, coolers and everything that you have at restaurants. Suzanne, I'm sure you also, Councilmember Fontana, I'm sure you also have things that ACE, just a lot of businesses have things that they just are going to automatically restart if they're turned off. Yeah.
Thank you for going a little deeper into that. Because
Yeah.
that didn't make sense to me. Well, when I worked at the newspaper, we had brownouts all the time. So I can make sense of it that way as well.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Okay, so I just had a couple things tonight. One, the meeting with the veterans I thought was great, and it just speaks to the importance of having relationships, of having trust, and I'm really looking forward to them coming in at the next meeting. And one of the things I found most rewarding over the last 4 years as mayor is the relationship I've developed with them, and I would encourage anyone sitting up here, they're very welcoming. They do something in December which has had a really profound impact on me, and it's called Wreaths Across America, where one has the opportunity to lay a wreath on a fallen service member and just to honor them. And it's really, it's a beautiful thing, and I will continue to do it even after I'm removed from the seat. So it just means that much. So that was the first thing. And then secondly, to say that last night was emotionally charged would probably be an understatement. And I am grateful to council members for acknowledging that. I think that really shows a lot of maturity, and I am really grateful for that. But with that said, I just want to put out there that we are in all likelihood going to have another very emotionally charged meeting 2 weeks from tonight. And I just want everyone to be mindful of that going in. It is probably going to be charged. And one of the things I'm going to do, and I hope you'll all indulge me with this, but I am going to read the civility invocation at the next meeting, because I think we all could benefit from a reminder, myself included. So that's all I have for tonight. And then anything from our attorney?
I do have a few things that just came up. I just want to remind everyone that, yes, you said there's a hearing, that, the hearing in 2 weeks, it is quasi-judicial, so remember everything that we talk about as to the fairness for all involved, whether that be the property owners, the adjoining neighbors, is that everything happens in the confines of that public hearing. So if somebody does reach out to you, please explain that you want their voice to be heard within that public hearing. That's really important. That being said, there were different themes that were brought up that are not specific to that hearing that we're going to, well, I'll help work with Christy, I don't know if you, and just, yeah, Christy's working on this, but just to help staff articulate what they're doing and what their role is, because the residents are not aware of that, and also to make sure that, well, I'll let Christy speak to more to it, but it just, I understand we're involved with this for so many years and so long that we don't really understand. Sometimes the residents don't understand that. So how can we better articulate to make that understanding? But as we're talking about a specific hearing, again, let's just reiterate. And then secondly, something that came up, I just want to speak generally, I brought this up before, is about, the Chafee Housing Authority is a multi-jurisdictional housing authority, and this is not about any personalities, I've said this before. So I was part of helping, draft the documents to create it. It's different than when the city is just, kind of on the board, or one of you serve a board. we are part of that board. It is the three entities. It's not, it's a separate entity, but it's comprised of the three government entities. So I just want to reiterate it's so important that you all stay on top of that and stay involved, and that it's just, it's called a multi-jurisdictional housing authority because it's made up of the jurisdictions, not that there's just like a representative. We are crucial to that. It's not an entity on its own. So that's all I want to share.
Thank you. Treasurer?
No report tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Or anything department?
Yes, I do want to speak to what Nina had started commenting on, and that is that many of the applications that we receive are multifaceted. There are a lot of layers to the land use applications, and staff knows how important it is for the information that we receive to come to the decision makers, this council. So when we speak to residents about issues that staff may not have any actual authority over, and we pass along the information of the appropriate place for that information to be shared, it's here. It's at the public hearing. And we will continue to share that message and ensure that both the residents understand the process, because it can be complicated. Some of these decision points are very complicated. We will continue to do a better job ensuring that you all understand the components of these processes and what decisions you are making during each of them and what decisions are still to come, because when you don't see them all the time, when you're not working in it all the time, it can be a bit overwhelming and confusing. So we will continue to provide that to you all as well. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask me or someone from the Community Development Office. And again, any citizen or resident that comes to you on any application, feel free to send them to staff at City Hall, and we can help direct that information. Thank you.
Thank you. All that's left is a motion to adjourn.
Wait, Mr. Mayor, sorry. I forgot to talk about this earlier. I did get a chance to speak with Christy Miller from last night's discussion. And Nina, I was hoping you could maybe speak to this. She was curious about having a real estate transfer tax for the communities, and I was wondering if you could speak to that.
So no community has the authority to do that unless you were home rule and had the tax in effect before 1992, which is when the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, also known as TABOR, was passed. So unfortunately, that can't happen, except for the few communities who had that already in effect prior to 1992 and who were home rule.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I just told her I'd follow up with our city attorney. So yeah, and then I really did want to mention real quick too, the F Street pedestrian mall closure ballot measure. I want to give credit where credit is due. I want to thank Adam Martinez for bringing that to our attention several times. And I just want to give credit where credit is due. That is all. Thank you.
All right, so
I move we
motion.
adjourn.
Aye.
Okay, have a good night.
I want to thank Adam for